Yeah. Hello, guys. Welcome to another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. I am your host, Saheem the Dream, coming to you live with my co-host.
My name is Allow me to reintroduce myself. J Mac Main.
Yes. J Mac Main is in the building. Listen, man, before we start this live off, before we get it, in high gear, I just want to show the people something real quick, because we're going to start it off like this, man. I got to show you guys something real quick, man. My wife sent me this earlier today, and I thought this is the most funniest thing ever. So I got to show you guys. It's exactly how we getting it started off today. But I got to show you guys real quick. For the people out there who don't know what just happened not too long ago, there was a man in Brazil, Florida, somewhere, wherever he was, who channeled the spirit of the late, great Macho Man Randy Savage, right? And this is the craziest thing, man. This is hilarious. My wife sent me this clip. You guys got to see it. All right, sorry for the technical difficulties. I got to rewind the clip again, show it to you guys, because my computer's moving a little slow. But see if we get it at the proper speed so you guys can actually see the clip. Yo. Was you able to see it?
No.
Was it clear enough for you?
No.
It was breaking up?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh man, my computer, my connection is really acting funny. Okay, so what happened was these two guys were being chased by a crocodile in a river. And the dude jumps off of the rock and elbow drops the crocodile. I gotta send you the clip, man. This stupid thing, man. I've been having technical difficulties with my laptop, for the last few minutes for some reason. I think I needed to restart it, but whatever. But JJ, I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you ain't elbow dropping crocodiles for me, man, our friendship don't mean nothing, man. You better be out there ready to elbow drop these crocodiles, man. This is crazy, B. This guy's out here taking a friendship to a whole nother level.
I'll straight curb stomp him for you. I got you.
Yo, crazy, man. But that was crazy. It was a crazy clip. I thought the clip was hilarious, man. It was a funny clip. I was trying to show you guys, but unfortunately, it was, my computer was just acting real stupid, which sucks. So let's get down to it. So we're gonna go into news and rumors. In our segment. Jay, you want to start it off, or you want me to start?
You can start. You can start this one.
All right, cool. So first headline: We have actor Chris Hemsworth says Hulk Hogan biopic role is insanely physical. So if you guys don't know that there's a biopic in the makings of having Chris Hemsworth play Hulk Hogan on Netflix. It's going to be exclusively on Netflix. I believe this movie is supposed to be released next year. It's going to be very interesting. Chris Hemsworth talked about the physical demand that he has to endure in order to prepare for this role, how he has to bulk up, build himself up in order to be properly fit for the role. And I think this is going to be very interesting to see Chris Hemsworth play Hogan. I think it's going to be a dope thing. I think he's going to really be able to, kind of really bring the character to life. They're both blonde. They both have blue eyes. Chris Hemsworth already has the size in the sense of like build. He's not as big as Hogan because Hogan is like 6'8".
Right.
He's a big guy. Hogan's a tall dude. But yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to watch this movie.
But if he channels his inner Thor, he can do it.
He channels inner Thor. If he channels inner Thor, definitely. It's so funny because Hulk Hogan definitely looked like he could have played Thor some time ago with that daggone mustache. The little little mustache, man. So we got some more news.
So I'll start by just giving a congratulations to Sarah Logan and Eric from the Viking Raiders. Sarah Logan yesterday announced her pregnancy, so they'll be expecting a child soon. So for those who were thinking that she possibly could be coming back to the potential Riot Squad, that may be put on hold for about 9 months.
Okay, I thought Sarah Logan was done with WWE. I thought she was released.
Yeah, she was. But shortly after her release, a lot of fans were. I mean, a lot of backstage guys were going to bat for her, trying to bring her back, and
Okay.
they were actually in talks to bring her back, but she had decided, she was done and she retired. And as we see with the storyline, and if we know wrestling like we know wrestling, something's going to happen because, as of the last couple of weeks, Ruby Riott has fought Billie Kay and Peyton Royce and lost to both of them. So typically what's probably going to happen is she's going to have a match with them this week or something's going to happen. And then Liv Morgan is finally going to respond and come save Ruby. And they're going to probably have a tag match at Extreme Rules Horror Show. So that's somewhat was going to bring them back together. And then after that, then we'll go into I guess, they'll bring back the Riot Squad. And I guess at some point, they were thinking or considering bringing in Sarah. But I honestly thought about this. Now think about this. You have Riot, you have Sarah Logan.
Okay.
What if Shayna Baszler comes in and becomes new leader? And they just, instead of being the Riot Squad, they change the name or whatever they do. And that becomes a 3-woman force or three woman stable.
So you're saying Ruby Riott, Shayna Baszler, and who else?
And what's her name? Liv Morgan. Yeah.
Liv Morgan. I think it'll be cool. I like Ruby. I think Ruby is not. I like Ruby. Well, Ruby. She just lost in her match against what's the girl's name? Peyton Royce. Yeah.
Billie Kay. She lost Peyton Royce last week.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good idea. I think it'll be a good idea. I don't know. You know what? I see. Now I'll take away Liv Morgan. Right. I'll keep Ruby Riott. I'll leave Liv Morgan to the side. Liv Morgan doesn't give off that tough persona. I think Shayna Baszler would have to be around people who kind of like are just as intense as she is. Someone who can contribute to that intensity. I think to make it work. But Ruby, cool. Liv, eh.
But who else you have on Raw that would be able to?
Who else on Raw would I add to that?
Now, if you take Sonya Deville and bring her over to Raw, hands down, no questions asked. But
yeah. Oh yeah.
From Raw.
You said it. I don't see anybody else on Raw. I can't say Natalia. Natalia doesn't fit.
Right.
Um, but yes, no, Sonya Deville. As a matter of fact, Sonya Deville would be absolutely perfect to be with Shayna Baszler. That'll be crazy. Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Ruby Riott. That'd be crazy. That to me that I like. I would want to see that. I definitely want to see that. I'll definitely be into seeing that. But yeah, but so Liv Morgan is still signed to WWE.
Yeah. The Liv Morgan still signed because
I mean, not Liv Morgan. Sarah
now,
Logan. I'm
so Sarah Logan has been released. They were in talks to bring her back, but
yeah.
but they just never did it. So if she is going to be brought back, obviously it has to be done after the pregnancy, and I guess 9 months from now will be like after Mania probably. So
yeah, because I know there was this whole thing about her being released and then them and having these inner workings of her coming back, like she was supposed to be coming back,
right.
and it was supposed to be like, yeah, okay, well. Well, I mean, what do you think about her overall as a wrestler? Because I wasn't a big Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan was she to me personally, she wasn't wearing on to me well. I thought the Ruby Riott. I mean, I'm sorry, the Riot Squad was really helpful for her persona, like for her character, and I feel like that was really helpful for her because it would give her the opportunity to grow as a superstar and really build her character. But as far as like for what I've seen on Raw, I haven't seen her work in NXT. For what I've seen on Raw, she didn't really say much or do much. So, I can't really judge so much. But from what I've seen, I wasn't like really impressed with her. I liked Ruby Riott because Ruby had like an appearance about her, and she was the leader. So she did all the talking. I like Liv Morgan because Liv Morgan, she was nice looking, but she just had a look. She had an appeal. But Sarah Logan just came off as just the other girl to me.
Right. I mean, I agree. Sarah didn't really stand out to me. So as far as, without the Riot Squad, and as we've seen, once Ruby went out with her double shoulder injury, her double shoulder surgery, Sarah just kind of like lingered and, fell into the cracks. Similar to like Liv Morgan as well. So I think without the Riot Squad, she probably would have, probably been a jobber nonetheless. And I honestly feel that with Paige's injury, which kind of broke up Team PCB and no, was it Team PCB?
We talking about Paige's group, Absolution?
Yeah. Absolution, right? So so with Absolution, so with Paige, being hurt, Absolution kind of broke up. So then they kept Sonya and Mandy as Fire and Desire, but they had these 3 women groups to kind of flourish, and Ruby, and I think if Paige the one that got hurt, they would have kept them together longer, and we would have been able to see more and more done. And then thing with them, cracking jokes and picking fun at Natty about Anvil. That was like, all right, that's y'all OD. Like, so. But they came across as juveniles and pushovers and stuff like that. So
yeah, they didn't really get like major spotlight. Like,
yeah, they did.
I mean, they had moments, but it wasn't like nothing really big to be like, oh, like this is rememberable. Like they were there, they wrestled, they had some matches. It looked like the potential of something big happening, but nothing really like. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So what else do we have here? Jay Lethal. Did we speak about Jay Lethal yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Jay Lethal. This is crazy. This is crazy. Jay Lethal responds to the hashtag speaking out allegations. So apparently Jay Lethal is under some fire right now. This whole speaking out situation is crazy. He's under fire for apparently harassing and engaging in some sexual misconduct with some of the women in Ring of Honor. And there was a superstar who comes out to speak about it. Let me just briefly read through it. Former Ring of Honor Women of Honor champion Kelly Klein took to Twitter last night and called the company out for allegedly covering up allegations made against top Ring of Honor star Jay Lethal. Lethal has issued a response denying the allegations.
Wow.
And there was a Twitter, as a matter of fact, he actually tweeted. In response to this. So I was shocked, very shocked. I'm like, Jay Lethal is being accused. It's heavy.
Wow.
It's heavy. So like, I thought it was very interesting. I don't know. What do you think, man?
I mean, hey, I guess everybody's getting, accused, and everybody's name is coming out. So I'm not surprised. It's just, every day is somebody new, or every other day is somebody else. So I just and then you start to think like, okay, so is everybody being accused, or some people just? And I'm not taking away from what's happening. So we don't know what's true and what's not true, but is it to a point where like, you know what?
Yeah.
That wrestling is let's just talk about this wrestler, or maybe this wrestler did something, because for this movement to be coming out and start steamrolling the way it is, and for all this for all these things to be happening back then, why didn't anybody come out at that time and start saying something? Right. Why do you wait for all this to hold back? And one person say something, you're like, oh yeah, well back in '98, Steve Austin decided he, you know what I'm saying, like.
Well, the thing is that about this article is they're saying that there were they did come out and speak to Ring of Honor officials about it, and that they were covering it up because he's a golden boy at Ring of Honor.
I mean,
so they're saying that, yeah. So they're saying it has come out, but they kept it under wraps.
I mean, well, Ring of Honor is, lower end. I don't want to say lower end. They're not as mainstream as as WWE.
Yeah, more promotion.
Right, they're not as global, right? So even if allegations did come across as for Jay Lethal, because honestly, some people who aren't real wrestling fans probably has no idea who Jay Lethal is. So I mean, for them to not say anything or to cover it up, I mean, it wouldn't really make sense, because at the end of the day, whatever allegations come, it's your company. So if you decide, all right, well, these allegations came up, we gotta release this guy, or we're gonna keep him because whatever, then it is. And honestly, they may not believe it. Being that Jay Lethal is their guy, they may be like, hey, I don't believe that. Like, why would he do that? Oh, you know what? Whatever. It's whatever you say. Keep it moving. So.
Yeah, more than likely. It probably, now I get it though. Like, this is this guy who's bringing in money. This is this guy who you're putting the company on. And now you have to deal with his possible demons. Like, the thing about it is again, one thing about allegations that suck is, and that's the thing that suck about these allegations, right? Because people tend to avoid, I feel like in our culture, allegations are allegations. Like, you got to prove, you can accuse somebody of something, but you better have somebody that has proof, or be, a credible witness to what you've done. Right. But other cultures, I'm not going to say other cultures, but one of the biggest issues in media, in the media culture, is because there's been a lot of white collar criminals who've gotten away with the obvious guilt of the crime. Like, there was enough evidence to prove that this person was guilty, but because they just had a good lawyer who can twist the situation in the favor to where he can make, get these jurors, like, he can dumb down the jurors, like he can manipulate these jurors and make them, and make them see the truth as a lie, because he was able to do that, and he got away with those crimes. Now it's like the culture of media is, if you've been accused of something, even if you're proven innocent, the fact that you were accused, you're still seen as the criminal.
Right.
which sucks.
Definitely does. Yeah, you're right. And sometimes, and this was society, like, even if when you're, seen as guilty, and even when you're found innocent, sometimes, they don't want to go back, like, oh, well, we're sorry, we'll bring you back, so it sucks, that we can't find, with the truth right then and there, instead of, because as a company, you got to take action right away.
Yeah. And sometimes we do get the truth, right? Like sometimes we do get some truth. We'll get like a poster, we'll get some text, we'll get somebody who can vouch for that person. Like, like with the whole Tessa Blanchard thing, like, I was really interested in finding out what she would be doing in her wrestling career until I heard about the allegations. So I'm like, okay, these are allegations. Let's see how this pans out. And then when I actually looked at that Forbes article and seen a thread of other wrestlers accusing her of that particular, not just the act, but just her personality being that kind of person, it was just like, that's enough. Like, that's all that needs to be said. I mean, because either it's that or it's just real big conspiracy against this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, come on, like, it can't be that. Like, if, one person, okay, two people, okay, three people, I don't know, man. I think you probably I think you did. I think you did. Because it's crazy. It's like the same thing with Bill Cosby, right?
Right.
I've had this conversation with people, and some people just believe they just don't believe he did it, and I'm just like, bro, I'm like, hey, like 50 women, I'm like, the Illuminati must have a lot of money, you know what I mean? But people have these theories of why and whatever, or why that all these people came out, whatever, to accuse this person. My thing is, what does a person have to, when these situations happen, what does the person have to gain by the accusation?
Right.
That's what I always think about, right? And there's some people who are thirsty and hungry for attention, like, and I've been in I've known people who've been in situations where they've been accused of something that they have not done. You know what I'm saying? And I know that to be true. But then my thing is, it's like, if it's one person, you know what I'm saying, like that's up for dispute. Like, you gotta prove this person is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, not prove this person wrong, but it's like, if this one person comes with accusation, we can investigate this, and more than likely we can see if this is a lie or truth. But if you got multiple people saying this one thing about you, it's like, I don't know, B. Like, I think this is who you are, and you just need to realize that. Like, plain and simple. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's move forward, man. Because next topic in the news.
Yeah. So sorry. So I mean, it's more. I guess we would say news, not really a rumor.
Okay.
So those of you that were, because I don't know if you guys had a chance to check out the Broken Skull this Broken Skull documentary that Stone Cold normally has on the network, but I haven't been watching one episode, and the episode, I think it's the most recent episode, with Mark Henry, and I found it interesting because he kind of goes, breaks down, his time, what made him, what made him decide to be a wrestler, and what Vince liked about him. And then he goes into when he learned he was going to be in a Nation Domination, his relationship with Farouk. Then he goes into, how the sexual chocolate gimmick comes along. Yeah. One thing that stood out to me that I was just kind of like interested in was he kind of, broke down how the Hall of Pain came about. So if you guys, all right, so if you guys want to, check it out, I think it's definitely an interesting interview. But he stated that, Vince had told him, like, hey, listen, you're gonna fight Sin Cara tonight. So he was like, all right, cool. So, he was like, so he goes out there, and he's waiting for Sin Cara. So he's on live TV. Because as I'm watching it, there's fans out there, and so he's out there waiting for Sin Cara. Sin Cara didn't show up, so he's asking the referee, like, "Yo, where is he? Where is he?" So the referee's like, "Oh, maybe he's wrapping his knee." So Mark's like, "All right, cool." So he's still waiting. He's waiting. no Sin Cara, no music, no nothing. So breaking down, so then at that time starts to address the fans like, hey, thanks for coming out. You guys, have a safe drive home. And you can see Mark's face, like he's furious. So now he's furious with Sin Cara. He's like, yo, this guy is really disrespecting the business. Like, you have a match. Why don't you take care of this before the match? So now he's hot.
Okay.
So now Mark's and Mark describes himself as a short-tempered guy. I met him in person. He seems like a cool guy, and that's what me and I know him. Like, obviously I met him as a fan, but but he said, he says he's a fury, like he has a short temper, and he's like when he's going back to the backstage, he's furious. He's like, if I see Sin Cara, I'm gonna break him in half, literally. And so. So before he gets to Sin Cara, thank God he runs into Vince, and he's like, he said he even contemplated retirement because he's like, yo, like these guys don't respect the business. I can't be a part of this. So Vince like, yo, we're just joking with you. We're just pulling your leg. He's like, what? Why would you do that? So Mark at that point decided within himself, like, all right, whoever I step in the ring with from this moment forward, I'm gonna hurt him to prove a point. And that's where the Hall of Pain gimmick came from. And then he goes on to say about how Jim Ross was. Jim Ross told Vince like, "Hey, maybe we need to release this guy." And that is
Jim Ross was what?
Jim Ross had and was in an interview in a meeting with Vince.
Yeah. And
Jim Ross indicated like, "Hey, maybe we need to release Mark because he just doesn't cut it." And Mark overheard this. So when he won the heavyweight championship, the big gold belt, he had an interview with Jim Ross.
Okay.
And during the interview, the thing that's intriguing about it is, as we're watching it live, we're thinking it's a regular interview where Jim Ross and Mark Henry's talking, and as Mark Henry being the heel, he's kind of pushing pushing Jim Ross over and, being a bully and things like that. But come to think about it, that was real life feelings like, yo, you said I couldn't make it. Look at me now. Who am I? Say, you know what I'm saying? He's like, you're the man. Say it again. And he's choked, and he grabs his tie, he's choking, and Jim Ross like, I know. So that, so you guys get a chance, definitely go check that out because I'm watching it and we're watching it live. We don't know that's real life interaction that's going on. Similar to how the Matt Hardy Edge leaders, situation played out. Like that was a real life situation where Lita left Matt for Edge, but we think it's storyline, but that's real life that's being played in front of us.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I would be okay with it, but hey, but when you look back on, you like, wow, like that's crazy.
Yeah, that's real life heat. That's the good stuff right there.
Right.
That's the good stuff. It's crazy because people don't know like these interviews, these podcasts, these shoot I do the same thing. I'll go on YouTube and I look at the shoot interviews. And I look at some, and I listen to some of the podcasts, and like to hear the stories. And I know fans do the same thing. I know you guys do the same thing. And I love just to hear some of the stories of how some of these gimmicks come up, because a lot of these gimmicks and a lot of these rivalries happen out of real backstage heat, out of real opinion. Like when CM, like that pipe bomb, the pipe bomb gimmick that people like to call, the pipe bomb gimmick where CM Punk came out on the ramp and he cut that promo, like those are genuine feelings like of what he was dealing with when he cut that promo on John Cena and said that John Cena said to him, I almost gave up on you. Like that was real. Like so it was crazy, and that's what made that moment in time where after Punk cut that promo, that moment in time from then on after made it so special, because from then on when Punk was coming out there and he was really hitting that mic and cutting those promos, those are genuine feelings, and it was raw. And that was the whole motivation behind the Attitude Era, was the third wall being broken and just people just coming out and giving their raw feelings on certain things. And And, and it was some of the best stuff that cannot be touched to this day, man. They're not cutting promos like that anymore. You know,
definitely not.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's crazy. That's good stuff. That's definitely good stuff. Something I wanted to say. Yeah, but that's what made Triple H's and The Rock's feud so good. Like they really didn't like each other. They respected each other, but they didn't like each other. And they were, but it wasn't like they hated each other. And from what I heard, like other people describes their rivalry as being like genuine hate. But I believe I forget who spoke about it, but they said that it was more so they were both competing to try to be the best. And people always say Austin, like when people ask who was Rock's greatest feud, and people say Austin because they had a high profile rivalry. They had a high profile rivalry with with the corporation, and that's the first time The Rock held a championship, and then going into their second WrestleMania match and then their last WrestleMania match, because they had these great matches at WrestleMania. But nothing compares to The Rock and Triple H rivalry. That moment in time was just some of the greatest storytelling ever. Like it to me, in my opinion, it surpassed Rock's and Austin storytelling. Rock's and Austin storytelling was the story of the two baby faces, the two stars colliding to see who's the best. And that's just really what it was. But then when you look at Triple H and you look at The Rock, you look at two guys trying to be the best to see who it was. One guy doing all that he can to be champion, and one guy doing everything he can to keep the championship. It was just a great storytelling. But that was real heat that those guys were really dishing out to each other on the mic when they would come out and diss each other. And it was real. It was genuine.
Right.
Yeah. So what's the other thing? So other news, we have Booker T reacts to Sasha Banks saying she and Bayley are better than Harlem Heat. The bookman responds. All right, let me go into this statement real quick. See what Booker T says. Now, I totally agree with Booker T, but Booker T actually broke down what he said. He said, my thing is this, man. I put her over, right? Booker said, I put Bayley over too, right? Sometimes that's very hard to do, but I managed to do it because I'm the bigger man. I said Bayley's not great at any one thing, but she's good at everything. If that's not a compliment, I don't know what is. Maybe they're feeling a certain way about themselves right now because they got gold around their waist. Sasha, Bayley, great tag team, but as far as those two being anywhere near as great as Hall of Fame tag team, 10-time world tag team championships, set the record.
Let us know, Booker.
I don't need to say. I'm not going to say anything more. I ain't going to say anything more because he says a little bit more. But he says, along with the greatest manager in the history of the game, Sherry Martel. I'll leave it there. He says a little bit more. It's not that, not that great, but sorry, it's not as juicy as that part. But that was a nice little nugget, and it was very similar to what I said, when we talked last time.
Right.
It's like step up. I just want to say this. Let me say this. I just want to say this real quick before I get some feedback from you. So there was a guy. His name is Josh. He posted up on one of the group chats, one of the group chats we have. Let me just pull it up real quick. And he gives his opinion about Bayley and Becky. I'm sorry, Bayley and Sasha being the must watch. Let me see. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. So because I told him I would talk about this on our live. I said and this is his opinion. In his opinion, I'm just going to read just a small part. He says Sasha and Bayley are the must-watch thing in WWE programming right now. This is his opinion. He talks about the promos, he talks about their matches, he talks about their backstage promos, he talks about the possible breakup that we're hoping, this all forms out, this all kind of like concludes to be. And his name is Josh. Forget his last name. I don't have his last name, but yeah. So I told him, I gave him my opinion, and this is his opinion about how he feels because he's very, he's a fan of their work and so forth. And I said this to him. I said, WWE is not at a must-watch state. WWE is not at a must-watch state. And I mean, and I say this as this because when we think about must-watch or must-see, we think about a Hogan, we think about a Cena. Okay, all right, sorry. We think about a Hogan, we think about a Rock, we think about a Triple H, we think about an NWO, we think about a DX, we think about gimmicks or people who have this great character, and and these are the people that we point people who are not fans to. Oh, you don't watch wrestling? Watch Austin. You don't watch wrestling? Watch Hogan. You don't watch wrestling? You got to see The Rock. You got to see DX. Yo, you know what I'm saying? And so again, must watch or gimmicks or people who bring the it factor to convert non-fans. So Becky Lynch, I'm sorry, not Becky, I keep saying Becky. Banks and Bayley do not have the it factor. They're good wrestlers, they're good performers, but they do not have the it factor. They do not have it. Hogan had it. Austin, all the big names, those guys, because the reason why those guys were the franchise is because those guys were the draw. That's why they're called the draw. They were the moneymaker. They were the people who put butts in seats. Those are the guys who, if you haven't seen wrestling, you tell somebody to go see that person and so forth. And they were the person that was bringing the company money because they drew. Mm-hmm. That's must watch. That's a must watch. Like, oh, you got to watch. Like, WWE is not in a must watch state. Drew McIntyre is a good champion, but he's not must watch. He's a good champion. Braun Strowman, he's a good champion, but he's not must watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys, nobody there there's only like one person I would honestly put up there and say, you know what, you got to watch this guy. Like, I think you'll like him. The only person that feels stands on that level and hasn't really been given that opportunity is Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe. My wife started getting into wrestling because of me. But again, like, I could tell from her reactions from certain things, like yeah, like exactly, because it's like she points at certain people, and it's like with Samoa Joe, she heard like when Samoa Joe ran that whole feud with AJ Styles, and he was like telling his wife, he's like, you can call me daddy. Like, that was gold. Like, it was great feud stuff. And my wife's reaction to this stuff was like, oh yeah, like, he's good. I like Samoa Joe. And then she would ask about him, and I'm like, yeah, he has it. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Owens. Like these guys, these two guys, I feel like, certain guys have the ability to be must watch.
So to play devil's advocate, to piggyback on that, you don't think AJ Styles is must watch?
AJ Styles, I believe he is. Okay, just to answer your question, do I think AJ Styles is must watch? Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no.
You gotta think about his booking too. I mean, because as you gotta think, so and also the way he's booked plays a part into it, because he was at one point in the heavyweight, in the heavyweight title picture. So now you kind of lower him down to the Intercontinental Champion, which is a working man's championship. I get it.
Okay.
But if you haven't watched the last episode of the Last Ride with Undertaker, you should check it out, because the promo that he cut was about Sarah Michelle McCool, and how she's running Undertaker to the ground. Michelle McCool even said herself, she's like, yo, I'm starting to hate this guy. Like, I know he's got a promo, and she said she wife, like, yo, I really don't like AJ right now. Like, and that means he's doing a great job, but I really don't like him, so, and then even at this stage of his career now, like I said, with him being booked properly and booked to a point where he's And I feel like with the state that the WWE is in right now, he should be a heavyweight champion instead of intercontinental champion. That's just my opinion, because he would be more of a draw, or somebody that would be you prefer to watch over Braun. I guess Drew has it. Like, I guess even Drew, even though you want to have Drew to have his time, but him as champion would bring more excitement to it, because you have a guy who's more our size, more relatable to us.
Okay, Jay. Okay. Jay. And I think we should start inviting more guests on. I'm gonna start sending out some invitations to some guys, so in our group, so that we can have these conversations and talk about some of these things. And see, there's a difference because there's a difference between a star and a superstar. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between, Michael Jackson being with the Jacksons and then Michael Jackson just being Michael Jackson. Like, when Michael Jackson's with the Jacksons, they went gold. They finally went platinum. But when Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson, he sold 60 million albums on one album. That's one.
Right.
Let's not count all the other albums that went multiple platinum.
Right.
It's just that to answer, which AJ Styles is AJ Styles is a person who is a good milestone to build the brick on. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shawn Michaels, he's a legend.
Right.
He is one of the greatest in-ring performers. He will give you a great match. Shawn Michaels is a person who you put on the marquee when you want fans to be introduced to good wrestling, or introduced to somebody they may not look at. AJ Styles is a person who people will look at, but he's not the guy that's going to draw. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the thing that John Cena had. Like I give you a great example. Like let's take Frank, for example. Frank loves Stone Cold, but Frank didn't really watch wrestling like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of our friends, they watch wrestling with us, but the hardcore wrestling fans was you and I. You know what I'm saying? You were definitely hardcore because you've been watching it all your life. Me, you know what I'm saying? I watched wrestling since I was a kid. I got out of it, got back into it. And then as soon as I got back into it, that's when me and you met, like maybe like a year later. Right. You know what I'm saying? But we were the only real hardcore wrestling fans. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And but Frank is not a wrestling fan. But to get to my point, Frank is not a wrestling fan. And he started like I asked him, like, we was talking, whatever, and he was like, yo, I like John Cena. The dude that get in the ring, and he start freestyling, he start rapping. Yo, I like him. I watch SmackDown just to watch him. And it's those things. It's those things that make that person the man. It makes them the lead, that guy, the draw. Like, as great as CM Punk was the man at the time. And CM Punk was the man at the time. CM Punk had the potential to be like a Austin, to be like a Hogan, but the WWE never waited it out. You know what I'm saying? They never waited it out with CM Punk. You know what I'm saying? They played politics with him, but to me, he's the closest thing, like after John Cena. You know what I'm saying? To be that person. But that's the thing. A must-watch champion has to have that draw factor. They have to be that person that if you never watch wrestling, when you turn on wrestling and you see him on a mic cut a promo, and you want to watch it again because he's there, that's must watch. Like, when I was a kid, I couldn't stand Flair. He was this old flabby man with white hair, and he would come out. I'm like, what's this old flabby dude doing? Like, what is this? Like I want to see my grandfather wrestle. I want to see Hogan. I want to see guys with real muscles. Like, he had these flabby, watery muscles, and like he looked like he never hit the gym. He had no cuts. Flair was the most ugliest. He had the most ugliest physique ever. But man, I tell you, I didn't understand it. But when I got older and I started watching his promos, there's promos that Flair has cut that wrestlers to this day cannot touch. And I was like, I get it. I understand why people in NWA were going to shows just to watch Flair. Space Mountain, he's talking about he's custom. So that to answer your question, just to land this plane is AJ Styles is good at cutting promos, but AJ Styles is not a must see. He's a great champ. He's a good performer. He's a great champion. They will always give him kudos and say that he's not appreciated. But I mean, when you got people like Austin, you got people like The Rock who came out and to me, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If you talk about a must-watch champion, to me, the biggest must-watch champions was like Savage. Savage was like a must-watch champion. Like all that charisma, just the oh yeah, just all that was just like, yo, who is this guy? Like who does this guy think he is? You know what I'm saying? And you want to watch it. The Rock. So AJ Styles he's a good wrestler. He's good at cutting promos, but he's not must watch. He's not a must see. I wouldn't say like, oh, you gotta see this guy. Like you gotta see. Like wrestling fans will probably look at me and be like, oh, you're bugging, you're wilding. Like he's great in the ring, he cuts good promos. But listen to me very clear. If your girlfriend doesn't like wrestling and has never watched wrestling, or your friend doesn't like wrestling and never watched wrestling, and you put on an AJ Styles promo or you put on an AJ Styles match, they may say, oh, it's pretty good. Oh, that was a pretty decent promo. Oh, that was all right. But then you put on a Rock, you put on Austin, you put on Hogan, you put on Macho Man, they watch that, difference. They be like, oh yeah, yo, give me that. Like my wife still asks about the golden era. She's like, how come wrestling is not like the golden era? Because they have so much more charisma.
Okay, I have another one for you.
Okay.
Now, all right. So, being that you say that, if WWE would have kept NXT version of Ricochet, he hands down would be must watch, because I've shown my brothers, I've showed friends matches of Ricochet, and they're like, "Yo, what the hell?" Like, so. If we're looking at it from that aspect, Ricochet in my eyes would be one. But again, with and I say it goes down to booking, because if you're not booking Ricochet in matches where he can display certain things and he can display his athleticism, you don't see it. Because like for instance, AJ Styles, like a lot of his moves that he used to do, he doesn't do anymore. Like the whole moonsault into a reverse DDT. He doesn't do that anymore. The springboard 450. He doesn't do that anymore. Because he kind of slowed down a lot of his moves. Now did Vince put a stop to it and say he can't use them? We don't know. But Ricochet, a lot of moves Ricochet was doing, NXT, you'll just be like, yo, wow, like what the hell, like he was cutting a promo with Velveteen Dream. To kickstart their feud, and Ricochet went. He hit the ropes, and he did a front flip over the top rope, landed on his feet, and walked up to Velveteen on the ramp, and was just like, "So what up?" Stuff like that. You're just like, "Holy shit!" So I mean, like I said, if AJ Styles was if he was to bring those moves back and do, because remember when he first came, the Styles Clash was banned. Vince didn't want the Styles Clash at all. Chris Jericho had at bat for AJ to be like, hey, I mean, he had to go talk to Vince like, hey, let him use the Styles Clash. That move is amazing. And Vince still, didn't want to do it. But
why did Vince ban it?
I don't know. Vince was, they never mentioned why Vince didn't like it. But yet and still, and it's funny that I find out later that this, and if you look back on it, and when you see it, you're gonna be like, oh snap. The Styles Clash, Michelle McCool asked AJ Styles if she can use that move. So that was Michelle McCool's finisher as well. So but yeah, he did not want the Styles Clash used at all. So Chris Jericho had to really talk Vince and let him in doing it. So so he eventually let him bring it in, and obviously with it done safely, as we see as part of his arsenal right now. So I mean, like I said, and Vince has this thing, and like I said, we don't know the ins and outs but Vince has a thing where he bans certain moves, and with him banning moves, it takes away from certain superstars' arsenal. So we don't know what he took away, or if AJ Styles can use some of the moves. But back to my point with Ricochet, like Ricochet's aerial arsenal is crazy, and I feel like he should have had the United States Championship longer than he did. Like I feel like they gave it to him too fast. Because at that point he could have really been able to showcase what he had and what he could display. Now, he's subject to handicap matches against Bobby Lashley featuring MVP, which but it's sad, like Ricochet and even Cedric Alexander, they have so much more to offer, but due to booking, because these guys can be must watch because Cedric Alexander got his contract by putting on a great show at the Cruiserweight Classic, to the point where the fans were like, "Yo, please sign Cedric," and Triple H had no choice but to do it.
You know what? No, I totally. You know what? I agree. I agree with you. I agree because like I think I said before, like I used to watch WCW for the lucha wrestling, and Ricochet. Yes, I knew about Ricochet. Like we knew about Ricochet like years before, like years. Ricochet been wrestling for years. I remember when Ricochet was like Ring of Honor, years ago, like in the early 2000s. I remember. And I used to watch this dude do crazy stuff. I'm like, yo, who is this dude? You know what I'm saying? I remember just watching Ricochet wrestle for years. And like, when is he ever going to come to WWE? And like Ricochet just wrestling and coming out. Like Ricochet is like a Rey Mysterio. He may not be great on the mic, but he's excellent in the ring. Right. Like you just need to watch him wrestle. But even when Ricochet cut his promo on Monday, I was like, you know what, that promo was better. And I do agree, like, as when you speak that there is this confines that these wrestlers have to now wrestle from. It's like first when they're NXT, they're in the indie circuit, they're in 205 Live, they're doing all this great stuff. But when they come to the main roster, it's like Vince McMahon now puts them in this box and says, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. So now it's like, well, what can I do now? So I get it, like, and it takes away from their attraction, their lure of who they are. But again, I think that Ricochet's arsenal as a wrestler, doing all that great stuff on the main stage and seeing stuff like that would be awesome. Would be great to see. And he would be must watch. Yes, he would be must watch. But could we really compare Ricochet? Like, he's great in the ring, but can we compare Ricochet to The Rock? Can we compare Ricochet to Austin?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people you can't compare to The Rock. A lot of people you can't compare to Austin. So, I mean, you got to think about it. It's a different era, because. Because back then it was a dog eat dog world where you had to fight for your spot, you had to compete and try to outshine the next person to be able to even be on TV. Where now it's like whatever you do, if Vince don't like you, you're just not gonna make it on the show regardless of the fact. So it was a different era then.
It was a different era because they had real grit. It was genuine. It came from a genuine place. And I think that's what's missing. No, I think that's what's missing. But it's very interesting to kind of like, go into it because it's like, because in this era, they're doing less, but getting more. Back then, they did so much more and got so much less. You know what I'm saying? Like every wrestler wasn't getting like, these big payouts for these matches and stuff. And you had certain wrestlers who were getting big payouts.
Right, and then just imagine, and it's just in life. Imagine if you're doing everything you can do. You're doing, basically putting your heart out to do this, to strive to be your best, and you just looked at it as like, oh, okay,
yeah.
you're gonna be like, yo, what the hell? So you're gonna be like, you know what? Why am I going so hard? I'm about to fall back.
Right.
That's kind of what I feel a lot of wrestlers are dealing with now, and because and you think about it like this day and age and era, there's been more superstars that's been asking for their release than any era, you know what I'm saying, in wrestling ever that we've known of. Once they get to WWE, they're like, yes, I finally made it. And they cherish their time there. But nowadays, you're like, you see a ton of wrestlers like, yo, I want my release. This person asked for their release. That person asked for their release. You're in the titan of wrestling. You're at the mecca. You're where the all eats all, like where you want to be in life, where you dream of being. And you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to release. And that's sad, and it speaks volume.
Yeah. No, it does speak volumes, and it shows that there's a poor quality in the management and what's happening. Vince, but we've been asking this question for a very long time. Is Vince McMahon out of touch? Is he out of touch? And this is what we talk about a lot. But I do agree that if a lot of the wrestlers were able to display the same talent on NXT on the main roster, then it would be a different show. It would definitely. I think it would eventually become must watch.
Right. Because we even heard rumors where a lot of superstars expressed ideas to Vince, and Vince shut them down. No hesitation. Like, I hate it, and some of them may be great ideas, but no, I don't like it.
But my question is this though. Do you think that Ricochet? So I mean, because you mentioned Ricochet, right? Does Ricochet have the must-watch quality as a superstar to make people who are not fans of wrestling fans?
If you unleash Ricochet and just no barriers, no chains, nothing, absolutely, because you can put on an old Ricochet match to a person, and I'm gonna prove my theory later today when I have company over, and I'll express the reaction later. But I mean on the next show. But if you put on a Ricochet match, where he's displaying athleticism, where he's showing what he can do, and I'm not. I mean, now am I implying at any point that Ricochet is a heavyweight? In the heavyweight division? Absolutely not. He's too small. But he can give you a great Intercontinental Championship match. He can give you a great United States Championship match, and possibly on a regular Raw or SmackDown show, steal the show. So I mean, I definitely feel that Ricochet has that egg factor that if you have somebody watch, because think about it, a lot of people like the high flyers. I mean, people like things that's going to attract their attention. Nobody, if you're not a true wrestling fan, you're not going to like the ground and pound, somebody put them in an arm bar and, sleeper or, headlock and, that they're going to be like, oh, this is whack, this is boring. But if you got somebody that's flipping and doing these aerial moves and moves that people are like, holy crap, like, did he just do that? That's going to, glued in, and it's going to, attract attention. So Ricochet does have the arsenal to be must watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he does. He definitely is. But he's a show attract. But that's the same thing I'm saying about AJ. AJ has the ability. He's a show attraction. Like, in a sense that he's part of. Okay, let me not say show attraction. He's part of the show, and he's one of the people that's in the show. That's one of the best parts of the show. But he's not like a Ric Flair who's not gonna jump off the top ropes. He's not gonna do suicide dives. He's not gonna do flying elbow drops. But he will get out there and he will cut such a promo in the beginning of the show that will make you stay for the whole show to watch his match. Versus AJ Styles cuts a promo in the beginning of the show. You'll watch the promo, and then it's like, I don't want to, I'll come back later to watch the match. You know what I'm saying? Like The Rock and like these and that's one thing I'm saying is that Ricochet definitely is a great performer, and I would have to see the whole package completely. But again, but I can't speak from a point of a fan who loves action movies or a fan who loves all the Daredevil stuff because that'd be unfair for a person who's never been into that kind of stuff. I'm talking about a person who is not into like a person who is not into it,
Mhm.
watching it, then looking at it and say, I'm interested. People stop. WWE had one of the biggest declines in wrestling viewership when The Rock and Austin left.
I,
Mainly The Rock.
yep.
Mainly The Rock.
I,
And people. I can't. There's so many people I would talk. I would have conversations with, and I would ask them, "You watch wrestling?" I used to watch The Rock. I used to watch wrestling, but when The Rock left, I stopped.
yeah. And even today, like people, and like I said,
Mhm.
people who say, I did, you ask people to like, yeah, I used to watch it, yeah, I used to watch Stone Cold. The three names that people always bring up: Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker. Those are the three names that's always thrown out when you talk to people who used to watch wrestling. No, I'm sorry, Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. Those are the four names that's always thrown out. When you talk to people who you like, even now they're like, "Oh, you watch wrestling? Oh, no, I used to watch it." And they'll name one of them four guys, if not all four. And they say, but I don't watch it anymore because it's boring, it's whack. So yeah. So like you said, when Stone Cold left, that was a huge decline. And Triple H, he tried his best to try to keep everything afloat. But when you got two iconic global icons of that magnitude they decided to walk away, that took a lot of fans and viewership to be like, yo, oh snap, like damn, they're not here no more. Yeah, wrestling is okay now. So wait, Stone Cold's not gonna come cut a crazy promo. He's not gonna come raise hell, put stunners on people. Rock's not gonna joke on people. He's not gonna make fun of people. Oh my god, you know what, I'm good. So, yeah, absolutely right.
You know who definitely has a who has a draw factor though. I don't know if they're like somebody who's gonna I decided to watch a few of Tessa Blanchard's matches
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of see like what was the whole big fuss about. Um, yeah, she Tessa Blanchard definitely has something special.
Okay.
If Tessa Blanchard came to WWE, wow. I didn't because again, like it's like you gotta watch, you gotta see it firsthand to kind of see what the special thing is about. I went watched some of Tessa Blanchard's stuff just to watch her as a performer. She's really great. She's good. She's great. I would want to watch the women's division to see her. I would want to watch her. I would want to watch it. It was different. It was definitely different. But it sucks that all this stuff came out about her to know that this is the kind of person she is. It sucks. You know what I'm saying? But I would definitely watch Tessa. Like Tessa, she's gorgeous and she's great in the ring. Like so, it's just like it's crazy just to watch her. But I definitely had to watch Tessa's stuff to see what Tessa's stuff was about, and Tessa's stuff was really good. It was I can't. There's something else I wanted to say though. I can't remember. Anyway, let's move forward.
All right,
I'm sorry.
I'll bring up my last point with Sasha and Bayley. As far as the guy you said who made the comment saying that they must watch.
Okay.
Watching their promo on Raw, especially when she made the promo and she's like, "Hey, knock knock." No, she said, "Ding dong, who's there?" I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about, Bayley?" that was so dumb to me. I'm just like, "Oh my god!" Like,
I'm like, yeah. It's like it's one of those moments that you realize, hey, she's the SmackDown champion. this is your champion. Like what? Like what do you like? Or the thing about Bayley's promo is she's just obnoxious. We know that heels are supposed to be obnoxious, loud and annoying. But again, it's just when they have charisma, they make you laugh. When they have charisma, they're entertained. Like this guy's such a jerk. Like he's just such a jerk. Like Bad News Barrett. Like he came out and he was like, I got some. He's like, but I got some bad news. You know what I'm saying? And then like after he's laughing at you. After he just gave you bad news when thinking that he's going to possibly give you. But just to in my point. Bayley is just obnoxious. She just laughs and she just comes out there, yells and screams. It's like whatever.
Right now, there's a difference with you being obnoxious and me hating you because you're getting over and you're really, what I'm saying, you're doing your job to the point where I'm like, damn, I can't stand you, or oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, to get you hyped for a match. But Bayley has that annoyance to be like, yo, take the mic from her, please.
Yes, exactly.
Like Billy Kane and Peyton Royce, I cannot stand their voice. Oh my. I'm just like, yo, please stop talking, right? Somebody cut their mic on, somebody entry music hit, please, let's get them off the mic, so
yeah.
I mean, like I said, there's a difference with being arrogant and annoying because of what you're saying, but then it's another to be like, all right, please take the mic from these people because they have no business having the mic in their hand because they're killing you right now, literally.
Baron Corbin has changed my mind. He's getting it. Baron has got it. Baron is getting it. I was not a Baron Corbin fan, but his last two promos, I'm like, okay, and maybe it's because I'm no. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? But it took a while to warm up to him. Maybe not warm up to him. No, he just had horrible promos. He was boring. He was flat. He wasn't comfortable. Now that he's comfortable and he's cutting these promos, his last promo was good. The last promo he cut against Matt Riddle, I was like, yes. I'm like this. Like, yeah, okay. This Corbin, I like. I like this Corbin.
Right. I mean, hey, if Corbin's starting to rubble girl, he's doing something good.
All right. We have any more news?
Yeah. Last bit of news. So last show I talked about Kairi Sane being upset and wanting to leave, retire from WWE and go back to Japan. But being that due to circumstances, Kairi Sane, WWE is trying to show Kairi their appreciation, and they're looking to offer her a real lucrative contract, to get her to stay, because I guess they're like, hey, we apologize for the whole Nia Jax thing. We want you to stay, we want you to reconsider. As we seen, on Raw, they booked her against Sasha Banks, which is a more professional match than Nia Jax, more safer match also. And but Kairi more so looked like she was having fun. With Nia, it looks like she's like, oh my God, please don't kill me. But with Sasha, like she was actually having fun and enjoying the match, which is how it's supposed to be when you're competing. So we'll see if she decides to stay or what she decides to do, but WWE is definitely trying to keep her on board and try to talk to her and keep her on board.
Speaking of which, we could definitely segue out the news. I have one more bit of news, but I don't think it's that much more important. But it's just that this news that you brought up about Kairi Sane kind of like segues into a little bit more news, but I guess we'll just bring that other stuff up after this. So like, yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Like they would more than likely, I think, probably offer another contract. I know they like Kairi. I feel like they like Kairi, and the fact that she can't, because remember we was talking about this last time, and I felt, and it was like when I was thinking about how she was mishandled, I realized I'm like, no, she wasn't really mishandled. She actually got a championship when she came up to the main roster. She got it very quickly. She wasn't there long. She got, champion. She got tag team championship gold. So I think it's just a matter of time to when they decide if they're going to give her like a main event run. I don't know if they really see it for her as much as they see it for Asuka, but they can give Kairi the opportunity to see how that would go. I think that would be pretty cool. I think the fans would like it. But yeah, I felt like they kind of looked at him and was like they didn't want to let it go, which made me think about. I thought they were going to possibly do the same thing with Heath Slater when he showed up.
Right.
I got kids. Right. I see you got the shirt on. But
yeah.
you know, that was hilarious. But you know, you definitely seen the difference in how he cut his promo when he came out. Because usually when he comes out and he cuts his promo, he's full of energy, he's very vibrant, and he's always been pretty good at cutting promos. It's just that he hasn't been really given great stuff to cut until he had that great angle with I got kids. And when he came out, you could tell he was very emotional. He was not in the same mental space. He wasn't flat. He just was in a different headspace. And he cut a great promo, but he was very emotional because he was crying. You know, he was crying. Those were genuine tears because him and Drew were close. You know, he served a lot of time with WWE and didn't really get the due or the push. This is what I wanted to say. I'm sorry, I don't mean to stop this conversation, but I just wanted to go back to the whole Ricochet and Cedric Alexander thing. This is what I wanted to say. Ricochet definitely should have had a longer run with the title, but it's so crazy because it's like Apollo Crews is now getting the proper push that he should have gotten when he first started.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it sucks because it's like when this happens, because this is going to happen for Ricochet, but it's going to happen later on. And it's this weird, they're like, for Vince McMahon, when you come into the company, I'm realizing whoever you were outside and whoever you were in the indies, he doesn't recognize that. Agreed. When you come to him, however he sees you is however he deals with you. So if he doesn't see a star when he sees you, he's going to deal with you based on whatever talents and abilities you bring to him right then and there, whatever he sees. He's not looking at your tapes. He's not looking at your last matches. He's not looking, all your indie stuff. Vince ain't looking at all that stuff. Vince is looking at whatever he sees in front of him, and that's why he's mishandling these superstars versus when Regal and Triple H, when they come over to NXT, they come over, they see, okay, all right, this is what you're gonna do. We got you doing this, we got you doing that, and that's why they were handled a certain way.
Right.
Vince, and I think that's Vince's thing. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, like it was MVP trying to recruit every black guy in the world. Like he's obviously Bobby Lashley. He's been trying to recruit Apollo Crews. We've seen, he didn't. I guess he tried to even talk to R-Truth, and even on on Monday last night he tried to recruit Cedric Alexander. Like, yo. Yeah. Like, you trying to recreate the Nation of Domination, like with every black guy in the page, which is crazy. So,
I think he is. I think he's trying to recruit another black guy. But I think it'd be cool because we only had we only have one all black stable,
right?
In wrestling history.
I mean, like I said, Cedric Alexander would be a good look, with actually. Apollo Crews and Shelton Benjamin. I mean, obviously, he'd have to break off from Ricochet, and then him and Ricochet would have to have a feud a couple of times, which I think will be amazing matches between them two.
Who Cedric and Ricochet?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? But I believe in their tag team. I believe in that tag team. I feel like Ricochet and Cedric Alexander will be an excellent tag team. They just need to stop going in these daggone jobber angles. Like, not again, but again, we talked about Bobby Lashley being booked strong. So they're booking him strong, they're booking him right. And they're doing it right. They're taking good wrestlers, credible wrestlers, because Ricochet was a former United States champion. What's the other guy's name? Cedric Alexander is a former 205 Live champion. So, and you have Bobby Lashley, just running through them like dirty laundry. So,
right. That was sad. Like, Jesus.
It's very. He's beating the hell out of him. He was beating the hell out of him. I'm like, Bobby is waxing these dudes.
That's why I made my comment. It was, a handicap match featuring MVP because
Featuring right, exactly. Featuring MVP. So let's you want to get to this title now? You want to talk about this title?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So what do you think about this title? What are your thoughts about the title? How do you feel about the new United States Championship title?
How do I feel?
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Wait, hold on a second. Let me get you right.
Yeah. Fuck with your boy. Yeah.
Let me get you right.
That's how I feel about it. It looks like we talked before the show. It looks like a cartoon belt. I mean, it looks like a toy. Now what's funny about it is MVP's not the champion. So why are you introducing this United States Championship? That's what kind of got me in. After the match, the referee's giving him the belt as if he's won it. Like that was mind blowing for me. But I feel like that's a moment that Apollo should have introduced the new title, or introduced that at Extreme Rules. But why is MVP introducing a new title that you don't have, that's not in your stable? You know what I'm saying? So that was the kind of confusing part to me.
I see the angle, and I see what they were trying to do. They're pretty much trying to build towards like a CM Punk versus John Cena for the official World Heavyweight Champion. Like, who's the real champion? And the same thing with the Razor Ramon Shawn Michaels match, where they try to see like who's the real champion here. Like, is it Shawn, or is it Razor Ramon? Is it CM Punk, or is it John Cena? So that's what the match is really going to be about. It's going to be very similar to those two matches there, but on somewhat on a lower. This could be on a lower scale, could be on a lower magnitude. I feel like the match between MVP and Apollo Crews should end in a no contest or a disqualification, so that they can kind of milk this double title situation if they're really trying to make it pop a little bit more.
What do you think
it should milk it a little bit.
Title kind of thing?
Huh?
You think they're gonna go for like a double title? Like, which one is the real title?
Not which one is the real title, but it's going to be definitely a champion, a title for title match, because in order for Apollo Crews to actually hold that title, he has to beat MVP. He has to defend his actual title, because that title actually does belong to him, but he has to defend his title. And once he defends his title, then he'll be holding that belt. But if MVP wins, then MVP just pretty much, keeps the championship, and he, already inaugurated himself. So,
right.
For MVP to really, take, because he don't have to take Apollo Crews' old belt.
Right.
He's like, I don't need that old crap. I already had it before. I got this right here. So, he's an unofficial champion. And it's so funny because it's going to be funny because he's going to come out to the ring, at Extreme Rules with the belt. When is Extreme Rules? Is it
the 2 weeks, 19th?
In 2 weeks. Right. Okay, the 19th. So, yeah. So this is going to be funny, like, because we have another Monday Night Raw. So Apollo Crews. So I'm sorry. So MVP is going to be walking around with this belt for another week, like he's the United States champion.
Right.
But it's a good angle. I think it's pretty good. I like when I seen what they did and how MVP kept the belt, thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I like the belt. I think the belt is pretty cool. I just don't. This shot looks a lot better. I think the belt is all right. I think the belt is all right. It's pretty cool.
It has to grow on me. That's what I think.
It does. I really love the eagle on the belt. I love how the eagle sits on the belt. I feel like the dimension size of the belt, like the way it's cut, it's very, very square. And I know, like, the whole point was to make the belt a little bit bigger, so it has sort of like an appeal of like a heavyweight championship. to have a bigger belt. But it does when you look at it from other angles. Let me see. I have other pictures. It does kind of look like a toy. It looks, it does look like, a version of the like this kind of version of the belt that they kind of really didn't want to use.
Yeah, some of you'll go on Walmart and find in the toy section of where the wrestling men are like right at the bottom shelf. Like, oh, this championship. Hey, all right. Anybody? How much money else? Like, fine.
Yeah.
Little Johnny likes wrestling.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna, and so but they're supposed to be presenting a new NXT title as well, right?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, because John Cena's version was all right. I thought it was all right, but I don't know. Very interesting. This is a very interesting title belt to look at. I'm trying to see if I can get a different shot of the belt. All right, so I got one here. Just take a few minutes for me to pull it out.
So overall, did you enjoy Raw?
Raw overall was okay. The only thing that really stuck with me was the MVP Apollo Crews situation. What was funny? I didn't think about this, but when I watched it again, it had me cracking up. Overall, to answer your question, overall, I give Raw like a 3 out of 5. Two, maybe 2.5 out of 5. It was okay. But I thought Raw was okay. It was the angle that had me laughing was the whole Rey Mysterio Seth Rollins thing, where he beat up Humberto Carrillo and put Rey Mysterio's mask on his face and then try to take it out.
That was Aleister Black.
He put the mask on Aleister Black.
Yeah, he had, remember when Aleister Black was down backstage. They had the mask on Aleister Black. That was Aleister, because last week it was Humberto Carrillo and he caught him with the curb stomp on the stairs. Yesterday it was Aleister Black who was laid out with the Rey Mysterio mask. That's why Kevin Owens decided to be his partner, and then Aleister Black came out during the match. But and Seth Rollins on his knees like, "Dad, hit me so you can get disqualified, so I can fit the stipulation."
Yeah, no, because because I didn't watch the whole program. I don't watch that part. Like, I've seen it, but I don't watch that part. I was watching it. I was watching the beginning of the program.
Yeah.
Of before they had the match, and they were showing a flashback of when he beat up Humberto Carrillo and he put the mask on him, and I was just laughing because he's like, "Oh, you want to be Ray? You want to be Ray?" And he put the mask on him, and then he tried to take his eye out. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, "What is this? Is definitely." I'm enjoying this whole Seth Rollins angle. I'm enjoying the Seth Rollins angle. It's interesting. It could be better. It could be better, but again, it's funny. It has its high points. It has its high points.
All right, this whole eye for an eye match. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about that either. That was pretty weird.
Right.
And apparently, somebody's eye has to officially be popped out in order for there to be a victor.
Right. Like, how you gonna manage? I mean, well, I guess Ray has a mask, so I guess he'll have an artificial eye or something that somehow pull out. But
right, or WWE is trying to get banned from USA. One of the two. Like, oh, so and I know USA is not going to have nothing like that. Like, so you guys are showcasing pay-per-views, but guys' eyes are being popped out.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to terminate your contract. Like, ridiculous. But we know it's like what match was it when they had to be set on fire or whatever the final match.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're gonna say. I was like, how are they gonna pull this off? I'm sitting there watching this. Like, okay, so Undertaker has a sleeveless shirt, right?
Right.
Kane has a fully clothed, outfit. I was like, how are they going to pull this off? I
Right.
know they're going to set his boot on fire, and they set his boot on fire. I'm like, because they going to set this guy on fire.
His arm. Remember he touched the ring, and his arm was on fire. He went backstage, flared his arm.
On the first Inferno match, his boot was on fire.
Oh, I thought
the second one, his arm was on fire.
Okay.
Because him and Kane was fighting outside. Kane was fighting outside the ring. Kane and Undertaker was fighting outside the ring, and then Kane went to go kick him. Undertaker grabbed his foot and threw it on the flame, and his boot caught on fire.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, wow, his boot is on fire. Yeah. Or maybe it was his arm. I could be wrong. But wherever he caught on fire, he was clothed. It wasn't like, you seen actual flesh get burnt on live TV. Like, that's not what happened. It's hilarious. I want to see how this eye is going to pop out because it's going to be funny.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Because even Kevin Owens had the face like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah, like, okay, so you guys are into popping out eyeballs now? Ridiculous. Okay, so let's talk about this belt, right? This thing, it's very very blocky.
Like a 6-bit megapixel.
Yeah. I have so many. I don't know, Jay. I have so many mixed feelings about this. I don't know I don't know why they just don't go with the whole embroidery, floral designs. Like, I mean, come on, like with the big wing eagle, the small wing eagle, the big wing eagle, that worked. Even the undisputed championship, that worked. Like those designs, they worked. And It's just like, I don't understand. But I love the IC. You told me you didn't like the IC belt, right?
The new one, no, I don't.
Yeah, you said you didn't like it. Yeah. But I think they have, but it's just that's the reason why I like the new IC belt, because they still had. I mean, they had, it's a lot of circles. It's very, very circular. It's very circular throughout the whole belt. But I just like the way it's formatted. And the way it's put together. I like it, and it still has some decorativeness to it. You know what I'm saying? Where there's this embroidered kind of floral, or just a lot of heavy, prestigious design that kind of gives it like this prestigious look. This belt feels kind of futuristic. I'm gonna be honest with you. It has this futuristic look to it.
I can see that.
Clean, futuristic, flat, big old champion, just pop. United States champion. It's like they're saying United States champion. Like that's what they're saying. You see, United States all small. You see champion all huge.
I can see that.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't like it? No.
Yeah, it's gonna have to grow. I think that'll grow on me before the Intercontinental Championship would. But
really,
I believe so.
What do you like about the IC belt? What do you like about it?
It's fugly.
Really? Oh, so when you seen it, you was like, "F this belt," like you were done.
Hands down. I was like, "What the?" You know what it is? I don't know, because I'm so used to, and I understand. You got to evolve belts, so you got to make changes to so it doesn't get stale. But I'm a fan of the IC championship, and I see nothing wrong with it. But for you to go against the whole, you go against the whole design of it, and like you said, it's more circular, and it had all the extra circles. Like, why?
Yeah.
So I think that's my main issue with it. Like, I'm just so used to the old style of it, and you changed the whole makeup of it, where you could have just like you did the Universal Championship, change the color of the strap and keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, I hate that big blue title. It looks retarded. It sucks. I don't. The red one, okay. Red one was like, I could dig it. I could dig a red belt, red strap. Red is a beautiful color. Red tends to go with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But this time, blue wasn't blue. I love blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors, but blue was not is not a nice color for the Universal title. But very interesting. Like the old IC belt, I mean the old Intercontinental title. Yeah, it had a certain specialness to it because even WCW kind of they copied that design. They when they had with the old United States Championship belt, like they really kind of copied the whole squared shape to it. The whole So they really did copy it. There's another belt that people are like going crazy over. I seen this belt. I thought this was like a dope belt. Thought it was crazy. Let me see if I can get the old WCW United States belt. WCW. Because the WCW US title looked very similar to the Intercontinental title, the old IC title. They definitely like ripped the design. Like they definitely copied it. Trying to like get this image up real quick, but I am getting too many pop-ups.
Oh, and before we end the show, I do have some news regarding my favorite, Shayna Baszler.
Okay, hold on a second. Wait, just hold on a second. Wait, don't. Let me just pop this up real quick. But what interesting. I'm very excited to find out what this news is. Sorry, I just want to pull this up real quick.
I don't know how excited you're gonna be, but we'll see.
Oh, how excited I'm going to be! This sounds like horrible news, man. You got bad news. This is gonna be like good news. Like, yeah, Shayna Baszler's coming back. She's gonna be on a roster. She's gonna,
Depends on how you look at
it. Depends on how I look at it. But she's like, oh no. I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. You can go ahead. You can tell us. Go ahead.
So, Shayna Baszler is set to make her TV return this week on Main Event. WWE Main.
The motion has. Yeah.
I have no words after that.
Yeah. I just remembered exactly what it was. I was like, as soon as you started saying Shayna Baszler and we started talking, I started to realize that, oh shoot, like I know exactly what he's talking about. I totally forgot about this. I was like, how can I forget about this? Oh God, it's a sin and a shame. This is a sin. It's a sin and a shame.
The hell is that?
Before we get into that, okay, so before we go back to Shayna Baszler, I just want to talk about this United States Championship. So this is a belt that's been like circling online. I mean, surfacing online, and this is, I believe, is a custom-made belt and was an idea for a United States heavyweight title. And the first time I've ever learned about the design of this belt was in WWE 2K. What was it? 17, I believe it was.
Really?
And somebody had, yes. You never seen this belt before? No. It's gorgeous, ain't it?
No. No.
I mean, you like it. I mean, it's gorgeous, ain't it? Don't you like it?
It's cool.
It's cool. It's cool. Okay. I mean, well, it's like because it stays very true to the Intercontinental belt face, but it has this whole commemorative United States feel to it, with the eagle on it and stuff like that. So eagle a little bit broader and kind of spaced out a little bit different, with the red flags on the side and the silver replacing the white. So I thought it was pretty dope. I seen it. I was like, what a great mashup of the Intercontinental and United States title. I thought it was a excellent title. I really think it's really awesome.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fans who really actually wanted this to be the belt.
They should.
I thought it would have been cool. I thought it would have been pretty awesome. I think But see, the reason why I'm so gun ho for the new title is because it's a far cry from it's a difference from the original United Intercontinental title. And I just think that, you know, like I'm a progressive kind of person, so I'm all about like new things and moving forward. So I was totally for like the whole new design. So you know, I don't know. Fans like people like hated it. Like they really like. There's a lot of people online are just like, yo, this belt sucks. I can't stand it. I think this belt's ugly. I think like the ugliest belt ever. This is sorry. Let me just pop this up. This is the original United States belt. Original United States belt. It's very, very similar. It's just the same thing. It really just looks like the same thing, but in silver and just like, you know.
Yeah.
Looks very similar. Yeah.
What's the first name that comes to mind?
So let's get to. You said, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
What wrestler comes to mind when you see that?
When I see that belt, Lex Luger.
Dean Malenko.
Dean Malenko. You know, it's crazy because there was like a lot of cool wrestlers who actually held that belt.
Right.
Yeah. And I think about Lex Luger. Scott Steiner was one of them. It's so weird. Flair still comes to mind when I see that stupid belt. You know,
It's a stupid belt.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to quote stupid. It was a nice belt. It was a nice ripoff of the WWE Intercontinental title. It was a nice ripoff. It was a pretty good ripoff. I thought it was a good ripoff. I was like, you know, if you ripped it off, you ripped it off right. I thought it was pretty nice. It wasn't the IC belt,
Right.
but the thing about it is, huh?
No, you're right.
No, but the thing about it is that like it's just, but the Intercontinental belt just has a certain level of prestige that can't be matched. It's just weird. Like you can't match that level of prestige. Like it's simply because there's certain people that held that belt and how they fought over the belt. Like that title for title match with Shawn and Razor was classic. It just brought more prestige to that Intercontinental title belt. You know, when we look at people like Razor Ramon and Ravishing Rick Rude and Mr. Perfect and, you know, Rowdy Piper, but more so Ravishing Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, and Razor Ramon, guys who never were world heavyweight champions. It's just a certain special. It's like a certain special prestige that goes with that IC belt because they never was. But when they held that belt, it felt like they were holding championship gold.
Right.
So it was different. Like, you know, to me, it was always different. When Ravishing Rick Rude was the IC champion, I was impressed about how much of a jerk this guy was. When Mr. Perfect was the IC champion, I was impressed about how much of a jerk he was. You know, I was very impressed with his jerkism.
Honky Tonk Man as well.
Huh? Who?
Honky Tonk Man as well.
He said who?
Honky Tonk Man.
Oh, Honky Tonk Man, another one, right? Exactly. He was cutting up a little bit, but absolutely, like Honky Tonk Man, yeah. These guys held it, you know what I'm saying? Like, but then it's like, you know, you have the greats that held it, like you have the Macho Man, like you know, was trying to give that belt the same feel as the world, you know, the heavyweight championship that Hogan had, you know. He definitely, did what he did. He made that belt feel like Macho Man was one of the people that made that Intercontinental belt feel like it was second best to the World Heavyweight Championship. It was like Hogan got that World Heavyweight Championship, but I got that Intercontinental Championship. This is second best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he made it feel like that. He definitely made it feel like that. But then there was just people who held that Intercontinental title, and it felt like they were holding heavyweight gold, you know, like Brett and Mr. Perfect and Ravishing Rick Rude. Like there's certain people who held it. It was just like, it feels like he's holding heavyweight gold. It was just a different feel to the belt, you know?
Right.
Um, Interesting. It's just I don't know, man. But this United States belt has never reached that prestige. Like we've had people who made it close to that, but never really fully like. Like who would you say was like one United States champion that made it feel that way, at least?
Um, maybe I would say maybe Cena and Rusev, where Rusev was the guy, like, you know, with him being from Bulgaria and being that hated guy. So it was more so prestige on who's going to take this from him, an American, you know, who needs to take this from him. I would say Rusev. And I would say Cena from the aspect of him having open challenge every week, which made it, you know, must see interesting. But outside of them two, because they gave it, yeah, I don't know anybody else.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with those choices. Uh, I just hate that Rusev's reign was cut short.
You know,
Yeah,
they had to, you know, be
yeah,
throwing that.
yeah. Let's get to Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, disrespectful. Disrespectful.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Billy
I don't
Kay
know what to say. Huh? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and Peyton Royce is getting more TV time than Shayna, which like infuriates me. And I get that everything trying to do, but why?
Hey, listen. WWE thought it was a good idea to name Bayley the SmackDown Women's Champion and have her hold the belt for almost over a year. Uh, and Bayley is not even as close to a fraction as of intimidating as Shayna Baszler. Like,
True.
you know, and the funny thing is Shayna Baszler, like sometimes even when she cuts some promos, like her voice doesn't really hit the right pitch sometimes. But
Right.
again, she's workable. Like when we just know that when Shayna gets comfortable enough, we're gonna see something really great. Like we're gonna see like just a lot of great stuff come out of her, and we're gonna see it. We know that. But yeah, man, you said it right. You said it absolutely right, man.
Sad.
This is absolutely sad.
Her and Bianca should join a group and rebel. Just
Yeah, man.
a rough shot.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know, man. You know, is Vince McMahon trying to sabotage his own company?
Sometimes you ask yourself, you know.
Yeah, man. Because you know, he's controlling. You know, he has his control factors. He wants things to be a certain way and all this other stuff. You know, but his old age is really getting to him, man. He needs to cancel out. I think he needs to definitely cancel out. Yeah, he needs to, Vince needs to cancel out. All right, we gotta wrap this up, man.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I didn't think we were going to be talking this long. But that's how we were talking before in the beginning. But we had to try to cut it down because we didn't want to have people, you know. We wanted to make it, you know, very short. But yes, guys, we want to know what you guys think. We didn't really kind of ask you guys, but we want to know your thoughts. Wrestling talks and thoughts. We want to know your thoughts. We want to engage you guys and know, what do you guys think? What's going on? What's going on with Shayna Baszler? How do you guys feel about Shayna Baszler's lack of a push? How do you guys feel about Chris Hemsworth playing Hulk Hogan for the biopic? How do you feel about Jay Lethal in these allegations? What did you think about Monday Night Raw? How do you guys feel about this new United States Championship title? What are your thoughts? All right, guys, we want to hear from you guys. You guys catching this on a replay. We want to know what your thoughts. We've gotten a few likes, few thumbs up. I appreciate. I want to send a special thank you and appreciation to show appreciation to those who liked the lives on the fan pages, on the wrestling fan pages. We appreciate the support. We thank you guys for checking us out, giving us a thumbs up, even a comment or a like. We definitely appreciate it. But again, we want to know you guys. We want to know your thoughts. We this live is definitely to hear what you guys have to say. We want to hear what you guys have to say. All right, so that's it for another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. I am your host, Saheem the Dream. We will return with another episode on Thursday to discuss NXT Great American Bash, and I'm signing off with my co-host
J Mac Mains.
Yes, J Mac Mizzle. Take us away.
Mamacita, you want so Latino y Latino.